Good afternoon, reporting live from Carnegie High School. My name is Deshaun Bryce, and I want to welcome you to the Financial Enlightenment Show, um, episode one. So, welcome, welcome. By day, I am a career and college readiness coach. But in my free time, I am a another soldier in the financial literacy fight. Um, and my goal is to enlighten people about their finances, so they can make better, sound decisions, build generational wealth, and live the a fulfilling life, and also help others who might be struggling with the same thing. So I've been doing uh, consultations. I've been speaking and just helping young people understand finances and things of that nature. And the next progression to reach more people was this, um, the Financial Enlightenment Show. So I'm excited about this big opportunity. Um, a lot to talk about, a lot to dissect, but welcome. I hope this is something that you tune into frequently. I hope it's something that helps you. Um, and the goal is always education. That's the biggest thing. Just exposing people to information that they might not otherwise be exposed to. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Um, I want to shout out Pamela Maranta. She's the CEO of Brokey. Don't touch me, Brokey. Brokey Central. So shout out to her. She gave me this nice shirt. And uh if you have something that you wanna send me, I'll pay for it, of course. But if you want me to wear it or if you want me to hang it up, definitely let's get in touch. So this show is very, very simple. While the shade room and other things like that, and no disrespect to those, but they might be talking about the Jay-Z situation. They might be talking about the Papoose and Remy Ma situation, and that's all entertainment. It doesn't affect your life in no shape, form, or fashion. However, there is a percentage of people that don't know what financial literacy is. There is a percentage of people who are struggling and living check to check. There are a plethora of people who don't know when their next meal is coming, and this is what this show is dedicated to. I want to talk about that, highlight that, and kind of like just inform people. So, a little bit about me, as I mentioned before, I work at the best high school in the Bronx, Cardinal Hayes. Um, but outside of that, I am a investor. I invest in stocks, along with other things that we'll discuss vividly. I'm also a trader, so I trade options. I day trade as well. And the big thing for that is I taught myself how to trade stocks. Nobody taught me. I didn't take a course. Excuse me. I took a course and I kind of taught myself. I used my own money to do it. I'm pretty good at it. Still a work in progress, but so a self-taught trader, and I'm just the guy that just wants to inform people. That's all. I also own my own business, and we could talk more about that as well. As the episodes go on, but that's just my background. I am a former teacher as well. I used to teach math, but for me, the curriculum doesn't align with becoming successful. The curriculum is outdated, in my opinion, and the I don't know, it just didn't feel right. Uh, the stuff I was teaching. So I've started this. I started this journey first with Instagram posts where I was just posting a bunch of news, um, posting a bunch of statistics that were alarming, and I just say, you know what, time for people to hear my voice. Um, and no, I don't have any certificates. No, I'm not a millionaire just yet. However, the one thing I do have is I have experience, right? So the best experience, in my opinion, is the best teacher in life is the experiences that you go through. So I've experienced success in the markets. I've lost money in the markets, so I can speak to those failures and success and just give my opinion. But I don't want to give my opinion. I want to give you an education on things. So that's more what this podcast is about. I'm not looking here to try to get you to buy anything. I don't want you to spend money with me unless you feel like this is helpful. However, I just want to expose you to some information. So that's the most important thing. So first things first, let's talk about what financial literacy is, right? It's this famous buzzword, right? You hear a lot of things like financial literate people. So what is that, right? That's the understanding of how money works. That's the understanding of how finances work. It's being able to communicate about finances, being able to evaluate your finances, planning, responding, and all those things, right? So it's a plethora of different things that make up what financial literacy is. Um, but some of us can't we don't understand the basics of it because we don't know what it is. So it might be defined in many different ways. Um, and it does contain a lot, but just knowing what it is, can help you tremendously, right? So some things that financial literacy includes are setting up a budget, right? And that's one of the most underrated things. Like if you can live your life on a budget, it's not only going to save you money financially, it's going to instill in you some very good habits that'll help you be even more successful, right? So if I can set a limit and stick to that limit, then I'll be a better person for that. I'll be able to follow something to the T. And the budget is just helping you get your management skills down. And once you're able to manage a budget, you should be able to manage your accounts. Um, Me personally, I have a bunch of brokerage. I have a Roth IRA. I have a alternative investment account, which I want to speak more on in a later episode. Checkings account, of course. I have a high yield savings account. But other accounts might include my credit card account, things of that nature. So the budget's gonna help you stick to the script and develop that discipline. Because without discipline, we cannot be financially literate without discipline. That's very important. Um, Another component of that is debt to income ratio. Um, you have to be able to manage your debt. You got to be able to manage how much money goes in, how much money goes out. So a budget is key in your financial literacy journey. If you do not know how to do a budget or you don't follow a budget or whatever it is, if you need to learn how to budget your money, you need to learn how to manage what's coming in. You need to know how to manage what's coming out. You need to know how to manage what's left, and you need to know what to do with that, right? So if you can manage what goes in, what comes out, and what's left, you can later on dictate where what left goes. So for me, I pay my bills. So my bills include rent, car note, insurance. Uh, I got cable because I have kids. Um, Wi-Fi, plethora of other things. However, there's a small portion of money that's left after all that money leaves the account, and that goes into my brokerage account. It goes into my daughter's custodial account. It goes into my daughter's 529 account. Um, it goes into my brokerage account. It goes into my retirement account. So, learning how to manage that, even me saying it, it sounds like a lot. It sounds like it's overcomplicated, and some people can get overwhelmed by that. However, I've built the discipline of living off a budget, and I know how much I need, how much I'm going to bring in. I know how much I need to satisfy my expenses, and I know how much is kept every single month. I have a set number of how much money I invest to each account, and that sounds complicated, but at some point you have to learn how to manage those things. Becoming financially literate is simply making good money decisions, right? So there is a such thing as good debt. Some people don't believe in that. Like a Dave Ramsey might tell you, don't go into debt. Some people use debt and leverage it and make a lot of money. But if you don't know how to do that, I don't suggest you go into debt, trying to figure that out. There's things like margin loans and things of that nature that can help you build wealth. Um, and just as from speaking from experience, there's the good way to use it is a bad way, right? So for me personally, I took out a margin loan and I went on vacation. That's not probably the best way to get a return on my money, especially because it's a loan. You have to pay it back. However, there was times that I took a margin loan out and I purchased more assets, and those assets paid back the loan for me. So I never came out of pocket. But if I wanted to expedite that process, I will put my funds to pay it back faster to be able to use the margin loan again. So for me, I've learned good money habits, but it started with me learning how to budget. It started with me not trying to keep up with anybody. It started with me being disciplined with my money. And the big reason for this show is because a lot of the times we make emotional decisions with our money. So when we get to Friday, we're so frustrated or we're so tired from work that we choose to overspend on a credit card or we choose to spend money that particularly can help us build wealth. We rather spend it at the club Friday night. We'd rather spend it on alcohol. We'd rather spend it on drugs. We'd rather spend it on something that is not going, I mean, it's going to give you upfront buzz or high or whatever. It might make you feel good in the moment, but Monday comes around and you're back to being overwhelmed or just the ability to do what you want. Like if you take that extra money that you have for not forever, but for an extended period of time. So if you are to sacrifice for a year or two, saving money, investing money, and things of that nature, and understanding finances and understanding tools, you can live that life you want. It's just a matter of being disciplined. And a lot of us don't have that. We'd rather be concerned with what's going on with Diddy. We'd rather be concerned with what's going on with Jay-Z, which is in another sense, these are people that we looked up to. I know I'm a big hip hop guy, I'm a big rap guy, so I don't even want to comment on that. However, it's just like we're so caught up on that. Um, when we got some fires that we got to extinguish in our personal life, right? So those are some things that this show is gonna address. Um, but one on one, we have to get the definition of what financial literacy was. Today is December 13th. It's Friday, December 13th. And my Cardinal Hayes, they take on Iona Prep today. Um, again, this is my personal opinion. We are the best school in the Bronx. We have the best athletic programs. I'm big on football. Football, we kind of lost the game to go to the championship. Could have gone either way, but I'll take it. But my basketball team, we're 2-0 right now. We're looking to go 3-0. So put in the chat, what is the best high school in the Bronx? If you're not from the Bronx, I don't expect you to know. But what you think the best high school in the Bronx is? As I'm going with Conley Hayes High School. That's what I'm going with. Excuse me. Uh, but yeah. Uh, very, very, very important to know what financial literacy is. But uh, I want to share a few things that you know that helped me on this journey. Because I came from humble beginnings. So I used to be uh with both of my parents in a two-bedroom, and I kind of never understood money because I was a kid, a naive kid, and my parents didn't share finances with me. they didn't share the finances with me. So growing up, I didn't really understand how money worked. I didn't understand the economics of things. I didn't understand anything. But for an extended period of time, my dad paid the bills off of one income and things were good. But as I got older, my dad had to take a second job. Things got a little rougher, things got a little tighter, you know, and the typical uh struggles started to happen. My parents separated, and then now I'm just in a household with my mom. She's not working at the time, therefore she has to go get government assistance. And everybody know back in the days, this is the 90s, so everybody know back in the days the food stamps used to be a lifesaver. And as I got older, food stamps it started to buy less food for us. Uh, it started to become not enough. The government was paying a portion. They were paying a large portion of the rent, but every time we were certified, the portion that we had to pay got bigger and bigger. Didn't understand why. Again, I'm still a kid. I'm just going through life. My parents don't didn't share finances with me, which is something that I do currently. I kind of share finances with my daughters, um, the 8 year old specifically, but I don't necessarily. I try to get her to understand like things that I didn't understand. But fast forward, the two-bedroom became too much to manage. We get evicted. We find a one bedroom where it's my four siblings, and my mom all living in a one bedroom. So as you can imagine, it's tight, it's cramped. We taking up every space possible, for so I didn't get a lot of my personal space. But again, at that time, everything is good. My older brother has a job, so he's holding down the household, and it's enough for that. And then time goes on, and then it happens again. You get uncomfortable again. Things start getting tight. Food starts getting scarce, and my second oldest brother had to go get a job, and he had to start contributing. And he gets a job making like $22 an hour. At that time, again, this is about the 2000s. At this time, $20 an hour sounds like a lot of money. And it was for an extended, like for another 2, 3 years. It was good. It was great. Everything back how it needed it to be. No food scarcity, rent paid, a little extra to do extras here and there. Nothing crazy, but like we'll be able to get clothes for school and things like that. But then it happened again. Everything went up, and then at that point we couldn't afford the one bedroom no more, and I had to go stay in the shelter. So something kept happening, and I didn't understand why. So as I got a little bit older, I started to question, I started to look up, and I started to like, I wanted to enlighten myself on what was going on. I needed to know why at one point I could afford it and then we couldn't. And then that's when I learned the phrase, I learned that the cost of living increases. I learned the word inflation, and I learned that you can be okay one year, but if inflation goes up, the cost of goods go up. And because of that, cost of living goes up. So everything goes up. Now, the only thing that didn't go up at that rapid rate was how much you were getting paid. Minimum wage back in those days were like $8 at one point, and then maybe in the 2000s it went to like 11. But even then, everybody wasn't paying the minimum wage all the time. So it was like me understanding that, me learning that. Um, I came up with this thing that I was gonna go to school, get a job, and I would be good. Fast forward to I graduate college, I get a job as a case manager, and I'm the breadwinner of my family. I'm getting a bunch of money, and it happens again, and inflation and things of that nature. So it prompted me to understand that yes, having a job is amazing, but I need more. And I used to save quarters, pennies, nickels, and dimes, and when I was in dorms. So that money that I collected from when I was in college, I cashed it in and I purchased my first stock. And then that prompted me to jump into the stock market and try to understand the stock market. Because the stock that I purchased was Bank of America, and I believe I purchased it for like 22, $23. And then a couple months went by, it was worth $32. So when it did that jump, in my head, I was like, if I had 100 shares as opposed to one, I would have made a couple dollars off that. So it made me want to learn about it more. And ever since then, I've been infatuated with the stock market. Um, but even that, it made me want to understand other markets as well. So the real estate market, um, it made me want to understand the alternative investment market, which I'm a big fan of now, and I'm starting to invest a lot of money in and other markets. So it just made me understand that I'm going to need several streams of income to live the life I want to live. And again, I'm not a millionaire. I still got a 9 to 5. I also run my own logistics company. So I still work. I work very hard. However, the work that I put in, the money that I'm investing, it rewards me with a lifestyle that I get to travel 2, 3 times a year. I am comfortable knowing that in a couple of years, my daughters will either have enough money to pay for school outright, or I can get them at least 2 years worth of financial aid. So that's big. I can give them a head start with their custodial accounts for when they in New York City, the age is 21. So when they're 21, they're gonna have a significant amount of money, um, and just things of that nature. So it's just a matter of preparation, and just getting my kids ready to get that generational wealth. Like everybody uses the word, but what does generational wealth really look like? Nobody explains that to us. Nobody says like, hey, it's get a life insurance policy, put it in a trust. Like we hear it, but how do we go about that? Like how do we know what's right for us, right? So the first thing you have to do, the most important thing is educate yourself. Um, you have to do your homework. Uh, you have to research it, you have to get informed about it, and then you have to test it. For me, I'm when I learned how to trade, I had to put my own money in the market. I had to go experience the good, bad, and the ugly. And once I experienced that, um, I had to learn how the market fluctuates. I needed to learn like when you get false signals of a bearish push, when it gave false signals of a bullish push. Like it's just learning. Like so, another important thing for financial literacy, you have to have a lifelong learning mindset. You have to constantly want to learn. That's big if you want to be free, if you want to create generational wealth, you have to continue to learn because you can always get better at something. You can always learn something new. Now, once you feel like you got it all figured out, is when you've lost. You have to continue to learn, and sharpen your skills and sharpen your mindset, right? And the psychology of this is important, right? Because if you put $100 into an investment account and think it's going to go to $1,000, and because that's not how the market works. You might put 100 in and it drops to 25. And the decision you make next is up to you. But more than likely, if I put $100 in an investment account, and I'm sorry for that, I'm currently in school still. So you might hear these bells, but that's okay. But if I put $100 in an investment account and it drops to 25, I'm going to put another 100 in and buy it when it's at that 25 level. Because for me, it's on sale. It's not a loss. But that's from experience. I've learned it's good to buy at a loss. It's terrible to buy at all-time highs because if you buy too high, what goes up must come down. So always wait for pullbacks. Um, dollar cost average in. So if you bought a share for $10, kind of watch if it goes back down to $10. But if it doesn't, like it's just so much stuff you have to learn. Um, it's going to take your full effort and your full attention. It's not going to be an overnight success. Like it's not how it works. Like people don't get millions of dollars overnight. They have developed a skill. for an extended period of time and did something well, and you got really good at it. So it's going to take a lot of education, a lot of trial and error, but you have to be willing to stay the course. You have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to do what it takes because I think it said like 57%, if I'm not mistaken, it said 57% of the people lack financial literacy. And that's alarming because there's people in this world profiting off your ignorance, right? So they want you to continue to worry about the entertainment stuff. Like they want you to continue to be distracted. They want you to continue to be ignorant because you are making them rich and you're ultimately sabotaging yourself. Um, but again, this right here, I'm going to treat it like a classroom. So I'm going to be sharing my wins and my losses. I'm going to show my gains and losses. I'm not going to give, this is not going to be financial advice. This is just going to be me showing you that I'm put this into practical use and this is the results. And I hope that invokes you to want to become enlightened. And I offer uh, courses and ebooks, but right now they're still being developed. I have a free version, but the other stuff is going to be paid. I mean, you can get into that, but again, um, let's see. Thanks for tuning in for episode one. I promise you, it's going to be more, but this is all the time I got. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button and share this with somebody so you guys can start your financial enlightenment today. Don't wait. Uh, this is the perfect time. There's no better time to start than now. So I look forward to it's gonna be some guests. We're gonna, of course, we're gonna update it. Right now, this is that Meek Mill with the braids rapping and Philly in the street. Like this is what this is right now. We ain't get the Dreams and Nightmares record yet. Once we get to that point in the podcast, you're gonna understand what I mean by that. But we got the whole production team and stuff like that. But I mean, we'll get there. But